Hey guys, in this video we're going to be taking a look at Guzzlers for the PC. I haven't really been around too much recently. I've been in London enjoying the Comic-Con Expo, which, to be honest, the main reason I go there is for the video games and the movies. You get to have a sneak peek. So I managed to get into the Transformers MMO beta, so hopefully I'll be hearing news from that soon. There's a stall there. I chose Decepticon, so we'll see what happens. In this game, there is a few annoying things I'll get out of the way. First of all, you cannot use Xbox 360 controller. I don't know if it's the same for any controller in the menu. At least for me. This is extremely irritating. You have to use keyboard and mouse controls throughout the menus. It's very annoying. I don't know why that is. I don't know why they did it. But there we have it. Anyway, quickly save that. Actually, I'll take you through the options real quick for the graphics. I'm going to be recording, of course, in 720p, just because, and that's all you've got. So, it's not an ugly looking game by any means. It's quite unique in the campaign. I'm going to resume the campaign because I've got a little bit of money stored, and I'll tell you why that's important in just a moment. Now, this hunk of junk is actually my car. It's the default one that you get. There's nothing special about it. Now, there's tons of cars that you can buy. They are all locked. There's customization parts. For example, we can customize the rim, license plate, so on. For example, we can do that. Blah, 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 blah. However, there is little point in doing most of it. It seems to increase our performance, so I don't particularly care. You can actually get weapons in this game as Combat Carnage with Indicate. However, this is very important. You don't start, however, with weapons. Now, I'm going to quickly repair. I'm going to quickly just repair 100%, so it doesn't look quite as battered as it did. Now, there are various upgrades. For example, let's say the braking system, but they are locked. So, you can't, for example, do the Gran Turismo trick of simply being able to upgrade your car to the point where the race is no longer challenging. Now, if we were to say click on a battle race, you'll notice that it tells me that I cannot enter it simply because I do not have weapons. So, with that said, we're going to have to be stuck with Classic. Right, we're going to try this and see how we do. Now, the weapons on this game are locked until you do good performance. Unfortunately, I'm not that great at racing games. I'm going to try to show you as many of the weapons as possible by unlocking them, but I'm not going to be able to promise I will be able to do that. So, because of that, let's try and do well. Now, one thing I'll point out at the get-go is it's very Super Mario-like in that if you do know the track, you can cut time off by simply having shortcuts. Now, let's see what we can do. I'm going to try to cut as much time as possible, but I'm not going to try to take too many stupid risks because that's generally how I end up crashing. Might not be too bad. It was pretty annoying, but I lost a few places, but I should be okay. As long as I don't derp it too bad, it should be alright. I think I'm going to go with the year-old bonnet cam, because I quite like that one. I know it's not the most realistic of views, but meh. Somewhat annoying that I missed that Nitros. Now, we can actually crash into people, somewhat like Burnout. It's not quite to the point of Burnout where you basically have no penalty really, but it's certainly not going to penalise you, say, oh I don't know, like an F1 game would. And also getting fouled. That was somewhat riskier than I would like. Oh, okay, that wasn't so solid as what it could have been. Wow, at the speed I'm going. See, that guy is burning rubber, quite literally. Hoping that will benefit me by crashing into him. Slowing him down a little bit. Somehow I am still behind where I thought I'd be. And I've also got people on my ass, as it were. The problem is, when you're in the middle of the pack, you can barely see what the hell is going on because of the amount of dust. Speaking of dust, dust does actually affect your performance a little bit, actually. The engine... Really? The engine really does struggle sometimes with dust. I'm assuming it's because of the amount of it. It's somewhat annoying, although Fraps is probably not helping. Crap, I took the wrong route. I'm going to pay for that. I'm only 2 seconds behind, that's what's really annoying. I am doing my absolute best, but I have a feeling I'm going to be about 4, yeah. Move out of the way, bitch. Not even attempting it. You are beat. Nah. No way. I'm not sliding out on that one. Done that too many times and had too many rages on that part. It's so annoying, I keep forgetting about that one gas canister. Oh, hopefully they'll crash into the mine, that wasn't ideal. I'll take that speed up. I'm third, which is not bad. Hopefully, if I can keep this up. Wow, there was a lot of dust on the road. Now, your car does actually take damage. You can repair it. Fortunately, repairing is fairly cheap. Although maybe that's not the case if you've got a more expensive vehicle. Ooh. He's taking the longer route. Hopefully, that'll come into my favour. I did slow down a bit too much there. Somehow I'm 4th. I don't know how I dropped in place. Ah, shit. I'm done. There's no way I can catch that up. That is irritating. 9 seconds in front. I was so close, I was doing so well. This is definitely one of those games where you just need the practice. I lack practice, and my natural suckiness of racing games definitely means that I'm screwed, basically. I am doomed. Ow, you son of a... Wow, really? You know I'm doomed, but I'm just gonna continue. It's interesting that some dumb guy is 15 seconds behind, yet I'm 9, yet I'm below him. I don't really understand how that works. It is a bit strange. I have actually attempted to do this a couple of times. I've actually recorded this a few times now to try and get a win, but I don't think realistically I'll be able to do it without some serious practice. However, I can show you in quick race another level. I'm afraid my skills on this game are not that good. So you'll have to apologise. I don't know if it's just that the AI is that much harder, or I just suck at it. Maybe someone who's bought it can, you know, let me know. Either way, we're going to do a quick race. I think we're going to do it for 3 laps. Sounds reasonable. That'll do. It's actually quite an interesting looking level. It's actually a lot more aesthetically pleasing than the previous one. I don't know why they made the previous level, or I keep saying level when I actually mean to say track. The first one, I personally would have gone with something like this. I think it looks a lot nicer and would have been a kinder introduction to your eyes to the game. The previous one is very, well, ugly, I'll be honest. In comparison to this, at least. That's not to say it's bad, but it could look a hell of a lot better. The dust also does not help. I think they might have made the dust a bit too thick. I understand that, you know, it's realistic and all. Perhaps when you're racing in a desert, but it's also a pain in the buttocks. I do really like the sun glow. The lens flare is quite nice. It adds a lot of atmosphere. Some people are not a fan of it, damn it. But I am actually quite a fan. I think sun glowing games can look very beautiful if done correctly. I think this is a good example of it being done correctly. It's quite subtle in some areas and then extremely bright when you're going certain others. I don't find it too much of an obstacle to the eyes, however. So there you have it. Now, as you can see, this map is definitely a lot more colourful than the previous one. I'm not quite sure what the whole different colours of the smoke are. For example, that blue one that just passed by. Perhaps it's a smoke screen, I'm not sure. If you actually look at the kilometers per hour, if you're unsure where that is, that's the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I don't actually go that fast, really. I mean, back there I maxed at around 100. So, obviously I'm in the beginning vehicles. With the boost, however, you hit maybe 150 odd. Turning, of course, does slow you down a little bit. My opinion of the game, well, it's definitely one with multiplayer in mind. If you're not... See what I mean about the lens flare, by the way. Ah, crap. I keep forgetting about what the handbrake button is as well, which is probably not benefiting me. I think it's B. I found that earlier. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. As I was saying, I think that they've made the AI, especially at the start, a little bit too difficult. Now, bear in mind, I have got the game on a fairly high difficulty setting, which, to be honest, maybe been a bit of a mistake on my part. Maybe I should have toned it down a little bit. But I do think the game overall is quite nice. I think it's well put together package, and unlike some lesser-known titles, particularly budget ones, the price is not. Sorry, I should say there's not a huge amount of bugs in it. I do think the title's got an overall reasonable amount of polish. For example, the mini-map in the top left-hand corner of the screen gives you a pretty good indication of where and how you can go, as well as giving you a little bit of heads up when rivals are just going to be in front of you. Overall, though, I think the game's not too bad at all. There are some things I don't particularly like. I think the deserts, for example, throw up a little bit too much dust. I think maybe that could have been toned down a bit. Maybe there's an option, actually, in the reference options, I don't really know what they are, to reduce the dust particles a little bit, which probably would be somewhat of a way of cheating. I don't know if it would actually reduce them or just turn out the detail. Either way, it probably would help, so you can actually see what the hell you're doing. Other than that, I'm not sure how I feel about not getting a weapon at the start. I think in a way it's kind of cool, but in my personal opinion, I think that the beginning map, once again I'll say map, the beginning track should not be quite so difficult until you've unlocked the weapon. It does somewhat remind me of the licensing licenses on Gran Turismo, where some people loved the licenses. I personally was one of those who actually hated them. I think they were irritating. I think that you basically shouldn't lock that much of the game from not being able to do a license. I think the licenses should have instead been used to unlock very small amounts of particular races, whereas obviously licenses were pretty much used to seal quite a lot of the game's content, unless of course you went into arcade mode. That's just an opinion, however. I do love how my car just careens straight into them. I don't know if there's a way of reducing the difficulty at all. I think once you're in it, to be honest. You'll notice you're actually receiving damage, which is probably not ideal. Perhaps I'm just being blind, but I don't particularly notice a way of reducing the difficulty once you're in the profile. You could of course just create a different profile, but that's not particularly amazing. I might just be missing it, however, so I'm not going to downgrade the game's rating because of that. It could just be me being blind. Anyway, I think that's a relatively good indication about the game. If I obviously could unlock the weapons, it would probably be more fair. But, well, it's going to take me a while to do that, to be honest with you. So hopefully at least get an idea of what the game's like, how it handles, what the graphics look like, so on. So anyway, with that all said, hopefully you guys will have found it somewhat useful. So take care and bye for now.